got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you wanna talk fun, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop, D-R-O-P.
Hey, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
And this is Robbie with Believe in the Run.
This is Megan with Believe in the Run.
This is Carl with Believe in the Run.
Oh, boy. And we're all back in one room.
We're all in Baltimore.
We're here.
What a treat.
This last couple months, man, been nuts.
It wasn't, it's just the last couple of weeks. It just feels like months.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Carl was saying today that we haven't been back from Kenya for a month yet.
No, it's exactly 29 days since we left.
We haven't been back from London for 12.
And don't worry,
hours.
we're still going to have a Kenya recap video and a Boston recap video and even a London one that's going to be a little bit weird. But I'll be putting that one together.
They're coming, people. Don't worry.
Yeah.
They will be coming.
But
Yeah.
the adventures have been thrilling.
It's been a time.
Yeah. So I guess we're going to talk all about the London Marathon this go around. But Robbie, what were you up to while you were gone?
Not much. I swear I didn't plan this, but I just realized I might have I don't know, can we say this? I might have cocaine in my pocket because I swear I didn't even plan this for pockets. I was like reaching down. I'm like, I found a thing on the ground today and I was like, I'm going to throw this out because it was near the school. And I forgot to throw it out, and I'm like, should I throw this out?
I'm sorry. Is
know.
this real life?
Carl, do you want it?
If you need verification,
Do you
I'll
think-
be happy to.
Do you think that's what it is?
I have no idea
Dude,
what
that could be
is.
anything.
Yeah.
Carl,
That looks like a science beaker
and
from
then
like
also-
5th grade.
Is that anthrax?
Why would you pick it up?
Yeah, dude.
I just told you. 'cause
Don't
I didn't-
open it.
I didn't want any it was like near the school. And you know how there's like no trash cans anywhere? So I was just going to take it home and throw it out. And then I just was sitting here. I'm like, that's...
All right.
Well, you
Not
just keep
good.
that in the pocket for the next hour and a half, and we'll figure it out then.
I haven't died yet. I picked it up like 8 hours ago.
I know a couple of people that you could ask, and one of them,
Well, I asked Carl. I figured
How do
Carl
you figure
was...
that out? You test it?
Carl's the one who probably knows the most if it comes in a
I-
vial like that, which I don't know.
You're asking the wrong guy.
All right,
buddy.
anyways, so that's what I've been up to. But no,
I figured you're just sitting on the porch playing the banjo or something.
I was trying to clean up the streets, man. I'm not, you know me,
I commend you.
trying to. It's Earth Day has got to be coming up, right? Or is that
It already
did that
It's
happen?
Earth. I thought that was March.
Earth month now.
Really?
Yeah.
There's too many.
We just get the day. Let's
Too
just
many
do the day.
days.
Yeah.
No. Other than that, honestly, I don't even remember what's been happening in my life. Not much. Not much since I've last seen you.
Has it been hot here? We got back and I was like, why is it
Dude.
85 degrees?
It's
Yeah.
not really. It
It's
was
like
just
summer.
yesterday.
It's fake summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
But nobody wants to hear about that. Everybody just wants to hear about London, which I almost went to, but I'm glad I didn't, honestly.
What?
And,
It was amazing. So, yeah, Carl, you flew out. You basically came back from Boston and did some laundry for a few hours and then went straight back over across the pond.
For a secret project.
Yeah, we'll talk about that project on the next episode. But we had 2 days here, 2 days in Baltimore, and then we flew out on Friday or on Thursday night, arrived Friday morning.
Did anything crazy happen on your flight out?
On the flight out, no, it was relatively routine. So
Did you go through Atlanta again?
no, this was a direct. This was a direct flight, but I had to leave from Dulles and not BWI. So,
And you drove yourself down there?
No, I took an Uber.
Okay.
And-
Wow, that's a long Uber.
You're telling me?
Jeez.
Yeah. It was about it was a little over 90 minutes.
Like when we went to Tokyo,
Wait,
we
how-
had to do that.
How much does an Uber like that cost? Out of curiosity.
It was like a little over $100.
That's actually not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
From the airport in London to our hotel, because it was like during rush hour, it was over 100 pounds
What?
for the
Yeah, I forgot like how taxis, I mean, I know how taxis work, but like when you get an Uber, you know how much you're paying up front.
Yeah.
When you get in a taxi, that thing just rolls.
What, can't you just take the tube or something?
You could.
Yeah, but we had big bags.
Oh.
Yeah, that airport's surprisingly pretty far from
Yeah.
where we were staying or where
Yeah,
I was at least.
Heathrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, when we flew out though, we went through Atlanta,
right.
and you know what always happens,
Atlanta's crazy, man.
dude. We're sitting in Baltimore, like we're gonna be on time, no problems here. There's
Yeah.
nothing, and then they're like, we're not able to take off. There's got planes ahead of us, and
Meanwhile, our layover is only an hour, which in Atlanta, that's like there's no wiggle room to be delayed.
Especially because you got to jump on that train
Right.
to get to the other terminal.
So of course we're delayed, and I'm like looking at this, and they were already going to be boarding by the time we landed, which I was like, that's okay, we'll just get on the plane. And I'm like, we're not making this.
we're gonna have to run.
So we land in Atlanta, start sprinting, like no joke, like in our shoes, like sprinting down the hall with bags.
Not good. I was like, how am I gonna run a marathon? This is hard.
So we get to the gate, and they're like, last
Well, wait,
call.
before we even get to the gate, we roll onto the train.
Oh yeah.
And I see this kid who's he's like we're like kind of huffing and puffing. He's like, oh, are you guys?
Because
going
I
to
was
London?
like, okay, we have 6 minutes to get to the gate, and I'm like, we're going to E whatever, and the kid was next to us. He goes, oh, you guys are going to London, and we were like, yeah, and
And I'm like, are you? And he goes, yeah. And I go, you running? Yeah. And I look at him. I don't know if he looked familiar, but he just looked.
he looked like a runner ish.
But the new kind of runner.
Yeah.
He's the post-COVID runner. Like, it's CrossFit.
Like he could also dabble in high rocks.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But he looks kind of familiar. He kind of has. I just thought he looked like who's the Nike athlete with the mullet and the mustache?
Oh, Craig Angle?
Craig
Yeah,
Engels.
Craig Engels.
Yeah.
So we get on. So we're like, okay. So we jump off the train.
Well, no, wait, but so this is the best part, because I'm like, we're like out of breath, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we have like this amount of time.
yeah.
And he's like, we'll be fine. And Thomas was like, oh, were you stuck from a layover too? And he was like, no, I was just in the lounge. I lost track of time.
Nice.
I was like, this dude is way too chill.
And he was really relaxed. But so we run to the plane.
Yeah.
They've already given away our tickets, but
So they assumed we weren't going to make it, so they bumped
Oh,
us to the
okay.
next flight. But then since we got there, they're like, oh, we'll put you back on this one. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. So that was all fine. But we're like some of the last people on the plane.
and then I see the dude just
And then he
strolling
just rolls
on.
in.
He didn't run at all.
Nice.
Just walking.
It turns out this kid is Wyatt Moss. Are you familiar with him?
I probably should be.
He was doing like the 50 states.
He did 50 states and
50
then did
marathons,
the
50
Oh,
states.
right.
Yeah.
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 So anyway, that was pretty funny because I connected all these dots like way after we had chatted to him.
I still hadn't checked his.
Oh, wait. Is this the guy who did the... Sorry, I thought he did the Boston, like, race to the starter. No, that's a different guy.
Yeah.
Right?
He seems to do every running event possible.
There's a
so.
guy in... But he's... Okay, no, I was talking about the guy in Boston who was like, I'm going to win the start, and then ran out. It was
Oh,
like
no.
No.
the concept of which I did not understand.
No, so
I know who you're talking about, though. I recognize
yeah,
it.
so and at this point I hadn't really gone back and looked at for his Instagram or anything like that. So I'm in the race and I see him during the London Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running by him and I'm like, "Hey, you're the airplane guy." I'm sure he was like, "Yeah, great,
Yeah,
thanks,
right.
buddy." But yeah, he was. It looked like there's a lot of carnage out there. I think he did a reel that seemed like he enjoyed it, but when I saw him, he looked like he was having a little bit of a rough
Yeah.
day.
Dude, it had to be. But, I mean, just looking at the temperatures out there, I was not jealous.
It's so weird
Yeah.
because the temperatures themselves, and we can get into this later, but the temperatures themselves didn't look that bad.
Uh-huh.
But there was more. I would say there's about equal carnage as when we ran the Boston Marathon in 2024.
Yeah.
That like you could just see people deflated and just stopping and walking.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Looking like Michael Myers mask, just walking around.
But yeah, it turns out getting to London wasn't the tough part. Leaving London gets a little weird, but we'll circle back
I
on
got a
that
sneak
one.
peek on that. Yeah, we'll get to that.
But we get to London, and I have to tell you, the place that we got to stay with New Balance.
The One Hotel Mayfair, 10 out of 10 stars.
Yeah. Okay. First off, one of my favorite things that I never knew I needed.
Was a key bracelet.
Oh, the key bracelet was cool. So instead
Like
of
a
having
Disney Fast Pass?
yeah,
Yeah.
instead of keying.
But you know
it
how
in.
you like always lose your key or you forget to bring it? This
yeah.
is a bracelet, so you literally
I do know.
get in everywhere with your bracelet. It's
Dude, that's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
But not just that, they had it all decked out like everything was New Balance. Like it
Yeah,
was,
the branding was insane.
like the pillows, everything on the walls. Like there was cupcakes. There was like everywhere you looked.
Anywhere you could place a New Balance logo, there was one.
Right. There's like Rebel V6 condoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yes.
in
the bedside
There's a whole
table.
bowl in Carl's room waiting for him.
I wasn't at that hotel, but I definitely would have taken it.
Yeah.
You saw it though. You came over and checked it out. It was highly branded.
I mean, the door had like the stickers on it,
Yeah.
like they welcomed you in and stuff.
So it's like a Nickelodeon fun house, like a Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
had,
but for
they had
New
a
Balance,
giant
but with-
moss New Balance logo on the wall.
I do like that. There's a lot of green and earth tones.
Yeah.
It was a nice looking lobby.
Okay.
I was quite jealous.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's weird because you had a nice place.
Well, didn't New Balance have like a thing called the, I don't know, like Hogwarts or something, where it's like someone could show up to like it was like a townhome, right?
Oh, the
Or-
townhouse.
Townhouse.
That
Yeah.
was like the main hub where they hosted the parties and the panels
So
and
we got
everything going on.
after we got to
Okay.
the hotel. Is that where we went next?
No, so we couldn't check into our room. And we ran into some New Balance people when we got there, and they were going to get bibs. So I was like, well, we might as well just go get our bibs now. So we are disgusting off a plane,
Not as yeah.
haven't showered.
Why do
but-
they call it bibs and not numbers? I've always wondered this. Because I feel like a bib should be what babies wear, right?
It is basically a baby's bib.
I mean, if you think about it, that's you put it on your
Hey, I guess it does
Sure.
get a lot of spit up over
Yeah.
the course of a race.
for sure.
Sorry.
And bib's cool. I
Yeah.
mean, it's less letters than numbers, so you can
Yeah.
just write out bib.
I guess that's true. Sorry.
So then we did hop on the tube to go to the expo, which was
Saw the cutest dog.
about like 20 minutes away on taking the train. And
I have to tell you, they really knocked it out of the park with their merchandising this year.
yeah,
Like,
it was cool.
the year that we went originally was at
22.
22. It was okay.
For just the general London gear, you mean?
The
Yeah,
New
like the
Balance
New Balance
London
London
gear.
gear. Okay.
It was okay. This year, dude, they were selling like you could just see people just taking stuff off to the rack and just going up to the counter and just
Just
it was like instant, just mass sales. But
and
So-
what was cool though? What was so special about it?
I think that the designs were good this year.
Okay.
The colors were good. A lot. We had somebody who wasn't running the London Marathon request us picking up a jacket for them, and I'm kind of like, really?
Yeah, that's
Would you wear a jacket of an event you didn't run?
no, never. It seems sacrilegious and like bad, just general bad luck.
Yeah,
I
or
don't know.
something. I don't know.
It just seems weird. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess if it said just London, but if it says London Marathon,
Or like finisher on it.
Yeah.
That would be weird.
maybe not. So how much did you charge it for it? Then?
No, they asked after we'd already left.
Oh, okay.
But I was just like, that's an odd request. Like,
I would mark it up double and then
it'd be like the
Tariffs.
currency rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus space,
charge my own tariff.
space
Yeah.
in my bag. It's got to be at a premium.
That's
Oh, dude, now that I'm like, I'm always scheming, so I'm thinking of ways I can get a cheap flight to somewhere and then just import a ton of goods and then sell them.
Dude, you could do it because then all you have to do is save it for a couple of years, and then you'd be like Robbie's curated capsule.
Oh yeah.
And then
Oh, yeah.
like with the Boston stuff,
Yeah.
you just save something for 5 years and be like, look at this.
Yeah.
Got all this gear.
I think the
that
cigarette
I've collected.
I think the cigarettes might go stale by then though.
A
So
lot of smoking in London.
oh yeah.
A lot of smoking.
They're back in 100%.
Dude,
Yeah, there was.
they're either smoking or vaping, and it's
Yeah, I saw
everywhere.
a lot of vaping.
And is this pipes like
No.
old wooden pipes or is this just
No, it wasn't.
Sherlock
wasn't,
Holmes?
Yeah, it wasn't the
Good
curly
old-fashioned
pipe.
paper.
It was cigarettes with those horrible warnings on them.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how good the warnings are. I saw it like when the person opens it up, you're like, oh, there's a
they
long.
like autograph it?
Yeah.
Like, this is me.
But yeah, so it was. That was a little actually, and not surprising. It seems European, but more than Germany, more than any other of the European countries.
Paris
I went
seems like it belongs. London, I feel like London might just seem dirty or something.
Well,
I
here's the
don't know.
cool thing is like people stand outside the pubs. And at first I thought there was lines to get in the pubs. They just stand outside the pubs and bring their pint out there and smoke and hang out. And
Nice.
So there's like 20, 30 people standing outside of all the pubs.
Like at all times.
Wow.
Like it wouldn't even be necessarily crowded inside, but there was always people outside.
Can you smoke inside there?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you can't.
So it's kind of like 2002 in America in a way, because that was kind of when you couldn't smoke inside as much anymore. People still did it.
But the size of the crowds were insane.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a major city, but every corner seemed to have 20, 30 people standing outside drinking pints and smoking
I
cigarettes.
did really like, we stayed in the Mayfair area, and I really, really liked that area of London. It was like a little bit more quiet than where we stayed last time,
which was closer to Piccadilly.
like Piccadilly area, which is like more touristy.
Mayfair or Wayfair?
Mayfair.
Oh no, I thought they were making
No,
furniture.
they weren't
and
making
stuff.
budget furniture. You had to pay
Okay.
full price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would explain the
No,
New
but
Balance designs.
The other thing I was going to say when we were talking about the hotel, the new favorite thing is the water filter inside the office. I'm inside the.
So every hotel room, you know how you like always need water when you're at a hotel, and you're the one who's like, I'll just drink the tap water, and I'm like, I don't understand why you would do that.
I try to be like the locals.
Yeah, so they have a built-in like little water machine in every room.
Like a filter on the faucet, or do you mean
No,
like
it was
No,
like
it's
in the
separate.
wall. They had like a whole setup to get like water.
what?
like
Is this
wall
just
tap?
is this
Yeah.
just specific to this hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's such a good idea. And then of course,
And then they gave you bottles.
well, New Balance gave us bottles, so we had water bottles in our room, and then this like
So normally when we go to a marathon, at some point, Meg makes me go over to like a thrifty
convenience
mart
store
or
and
something.
buy a bunch of water.
Buy like a case of water, and inevitably we leave probably half of them in the room.
Right,
But
right.
we need it for the coffee in the morning, for the drinking, all that kind of stuff. So to have it in the room in unlimited amounts was fantastic.
So, okay, so there's this brand, I was trying to remember their name, that they sent us these Nalgene bottles with water filters called Epic Water Filter. I think yours got stolen on the way to Kenya or
No, I
something?
found it. That was a picture I sent you.
Oh, you did. I didn't see that.
He
I
assumed
thought
it
it
was
got
gone.
stolen. What it was is there's a pocket at the top of the bag
Oh, right.
that I had put it in.
So couldn't you just use something like that when
Yeah.
you go places instead of just having to buy the
You
the
could,
water?
but that's still,
like something you have to pack or what?
it's the packing and then you got to wait for it to filter. This is like out of the side of the wall, just boom.
No, these ones you just drink straight out. Like I
Oh
think.
no, yeah.
I don't think you have to filter it into it. I think you can just.
It's not like a Brita where you like drips down.
Okay, you just suck it through.
Yeah. So
Your suction makes the clean water.
So it actually, so would that
Carl
work?
knows what that's like, right?
Would
I mean,
that-
it sounds like it. Yeah, you
never
use
used
the
I know.
sink water then.
Yeah.
You know why we didn't use it? Because when we were in Kenya,
We didn't have to.
we just they had plastic bottles for us.
Right, but in if you didn't have that situation,
You could use that.
yeah, I'm asking, would you though? Like,
I would tentatively.
Yeah, I would.
Like I believe that they're telling me the truth that it
you
would
don't trust the
filter.
water.
I was gonna say he just doesn't trust.
But that's how do
mean-
you trust? But how do you trust the bottled water?
Well, I was joking.
99% of fecal matter. Like what do we?
How do you trust that bottled water isn't like being leached in a back of a semi truck for a month
Hey,
before
Nestle would never lie to me.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, how do we know that this like faucet on the side of the wall isn't the same thing that's coming out?
Yeah,
of the
how do you know
sink?
that filter
Like,
inside?
I don't
Oh,
know.
dude, it definitely
No,
is.
no,
It definitely is.
I actually have a very good palate for water, and
We should do
I
a
can
water
tell.
taste
Dude,
test.
I have done that before. Someone made me do one, and I
Really?
can tell the difference between Dasani, Brita water filter, Poland Springs.
Brita has a weird taste to it.
Decide.
Yeah,
like a chemical
I was able
thing.
to.
Aquafina has the
decipher.
worst one, in my opinion.
Okay.
Got that little saline type action.
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, can you tell Baltimore tap water?
Oh yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Trash
If
water?
you gave me,
I think it's pretty delicious, honestly.
Baltimore actually does have good, but I don't trust the pipes.
Yeah. I don't
They
know.
make good bagels.
They do.
There's that.
That's true.
All right, so after we got water out of the wall,
No, this is so the expo. We didn't explore too much, but it was really cool. I mean, it was pretty efficient. And then we took the tube back to our hotel, where we eventually got to check in and shower, and then kind of immediately went back downstairs to meet the whole New Balance team
For a
for
happy hour.
drinks and then a party.
yeah.
Which I always love that New Balance is like, let's party before the marathon.
I mean, you had a couple. Wait, this is Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Friday.
Yeah.
That would be like your absolute cutoff.
Yeah.
Like, and you should only
And
have like one or two.
We didn't go nuts.
No. We hung out. We probably stayed out maybe a little later than we would have normally, but yeah.
Wanted to get used to the time
And
anyway.
well, it's because I love New Balance.
You're gonna say something about the food.
They never provide enough food before a marathon.
So
They had like the appetizers that they brought around, but they're like these small little like
but it's also weird stuff.
like
It's
mushrooms.
a salad.
Like every time someone was offering me mushrooms at like any time of the night, and I was like, this is not what we need. We need carbs.
Yeah.
So we left the party to go get actual food at like 9 p.m.
Which didn't work out too well because we ended up at a pub.
Yeah.
So I had like fish and chips, which not really carb.
Right.
It was fine though. But yeah, but this is all like the morning that we arrived in London. So straight into like.
Did you know that there's
Sure.
both chips and fries in London?
Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was the same one and the same.
I did too. Turns out, and I don't know what the distinction is. One's chips, one's fries.
Every time I ordered, well, the one time I ordered fish and chips, they were like the thick steak fry style.
That was the chips?
That was the chips.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, and they were like kind of short. They weren't
Yes. Yeah.
long
Oh,
fries. Or
yeah.
anything.
Whereas fries were like your thin, like more traditional, what we
Right,
would call
yeah.
fries.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, chips were good.
Okay. And did you put vinegar on them? Malt
I
vinegar?
did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got
That's the best.
You got it right.
I saved my fish and chips for post marathon.
And I was fine not having fish and chips again the entire trip.
I ate fish and chips like 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
Well, I wasn't running, so
Oh yeah, right. I keep forgetting that.
So then Saturday morning we had a shakeout run,
With
which
rep
was
running.
lovely because it conveniently started at our lobby of our hotel.
And
Although
we didn't have to do anything.
it was a 7 a.m. start, so
Very early.
that feels aggressive for a shakeout run.
Yeah. That's a wake out run.
Yeah.
So I mean, we basically had to get like up at in the normal time, like 5:30. Made some coffee, went downstairs, but it was a good group.
Yeah, so pretty much the entire hotel was New Balance runners.
Okay.
So, and for whatever reason, they wanted us to wear bibs, and they gave us all T-shirts at the start of the
They
shakeout
said we
run.
wouldn't be able to go to the finish line
If we didn't have a bib.
bib on. So we're all like, okay.
What do you mean?
Like they made this bib that said "Run your way."
It's just like a
yeah, I saw that and I was wondering.
Apparently you could not run your way. You had to run their way.
yeah,
Exactly.
we did have to run their way. But the runners run.
Rep running.
There's too many.
Too many Rs.
Rep running led this shakeout
Dude,
run.
they had 2 dudes with like jetpack speaker booths on it. Like, Robbie, you would have loved it. It was so loud
This
that.
is my actual
yeah,
nightmare.
you would have.
But I have video of it. There's a dude running, and it's basically 2 subwoofers and a speaker
Yeah.
in a
In a
backpack,
backpack.
and it's loud.
It's probably very chill music too. Nothing like
No, definitely
crazy,
not techno EDM.
Yeah, EDM,
Yeah.
bass beats, block rocking beats.
But
yeah.
the one guy looked like Ryan Felipe, and Ali
I
Ford
didn't-
could not get over
I mean,
it.
when you said that 2 guys, that's exactly who I would
I didn't-
picture,
Yeah.
is somebody who looks like Ryan Felipe.
yeah.
The one look, yeah, there was. I didn't think he looked like Ryan Felipe.
I saw it. Like, I kind of saw it.
Yeah.
But it was a really lovely run because we got to run through Hyde Park, and they took us to the finish line of the marathon. So we got to run by the Palace, and where else did we go?
The one thing they did that we don't do as much is I think we stopped in a 3-mile run. We stopped probably 4 times.
For a photo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Group photo.
Yeah. What's London like this time of year?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
It was gorgeous.
It was quite warm.
Do
Yeah.
people wear shorts there?
Didn't see many.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that's more of an American thing, right?
Feels like
I
it.
don't know. I just didn't wear shorts because I didn't pack them.
Oh, okay.
I saw some shorts out there.
Ralphie doesn't like
Does
shorts.
not like the shorts.
Okay, Ralphie.
Ralphie's
No
chill
shorts.
out.
No shorts.
Chill. All right, first check-in. So we all run for different reasons. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what exactly the motivation is for racing. For me, I don't know. It's not like I feel like I'm in PR shape these days. So why do I go and do it? And for me, it's a simple thing as being part of the community and getting out there and sharing that day with people. And I don't think I even realized it till I was halfway through the London Marathon that that's what I was there for that day. All right, Meg, the heat is back. It's time for Element Summertime Edition or Spring Summertime Edition. I've been using the winter, but now I'm transitioning back into
Into the straight Element packets.
with how I like it.
Yes. So if you're not familiar, Element is an electrolyte beverage. They come in very easy to mix little packages, have all the electrolytes you need, plenty of sodium to keep you hydrated. It helps with maintaining steady energy. It improves your cognitive function. You get less headaches, Robbie.
Oh yeah, I took 2 of those. I took like 2 or 3 of those after the Miami Marathon and the heat.
Whoa,
and
2 or 3?
It brought me right back to life.
Okay.
Took my headache straight
The
right away.
cognitive functioning, I'm not sure it's working on me, but the rest is with the magnesium and everything. Regular water is boring after drinking this. I told Meg the other day I was making it, and I was like, I'm kind of addicted.
Yeah, and I love it for before the race as well as Robbie used it afterwards, but it also helps with muscle cramps and just keeping you overall hydrated and ready to go. So if you guys haven't tried it yet, you definitely need to. And if you just want to get a test of it, you can go to drinkelement.com/thedrop, and then you can get an 8-count free sample pack.
Okay, so no shorts.
No shorts. Flowers are blooming.
Well, all of us were wearing shorts. We're running around.
Oh, right.
Ducks and geese are everywhere.
And do they have Canadian geese? Do they make it that far?
No.
Dude, their geese and ducks look very different than
Well,
ours.
no, there was one that looked like Canadian goose, but then the other geese were weird looking.
They're like brown.
Is that like a purebred goose? Or
It looks like a mix of a duck and a goose.
It's like a royalty goose.
Oh, really? Like maybe it flew over the wall of Buckingham Palace?
Like they're doing something over on that side of the wall, making.
Oh, you think they're
hybrid geese.
hybrid geese? Not.
Yeah.
So you don't even think this was like a
Natural selection? No.
yeah.
And also their pigeons hang out in trees. And this one little kid was feeding him, and he had pigeons all over him.
Oh, he's like the Mary Poppins kid?
Yeah, well, I noticed, and it's funny because then I saw after, we see this kid, and I was like, that's incredible. That kid is like an animal whisperer. I see Aaron Azar posts a thing where birds landing on her hat, and I'm like, okay, these birds are just nuts. You got a picture of a goose?
It's called the gray lag goose.
Can I
This
see
is
it?
the most popular one that we saw
Yeah.
most
Oh,
often.
wow.
It kind of looks like a duck.
It actually looked like a duck that goes to CrossFit.
Yeah.
It's like a little tough looking duck.
And kind of bigger.
Yeah.
Like he's swole.
Yeah.
I would definitely do the pigeon, what do you call it, collecting or something?
Like-
I would do that.
Like feeding them, you mean?
Yeah, not racing. Yeah, I would be just do world records, see how many you could fit on your arms or whatever.
I mean, they were friendly. They knew that people weren't there to hurt them.
There was a kid in the park
man, how did they get that friendly?
on
Okay.
Monday who was feeding them, and like they were just like.
That's
on
what
him.
he was saying.
Oh.
While you're looking it up.
Sorry.
That's all
That's what
right.
you're doing, yeah.
Yeah. And I said I want to be that kid.
I missed that whole part.
I kind of wanted to be that kid, but then I was like, my shirt is clean.
Yeah.
So,
That's the thing. A lot of laundry if you're a pigeon kid.
yeah, you can't just. Megan at one point said, we got to go. They're going to poop on us.
Well, they were like up in the trees above us, and I was like, "There's too many. This is."
Do you
not
think
gonna
you
end
have to
well."
line up the birdseed on your arm like
No, I think you just start feeding them out of your hand. And
Yeah,
then
that's all he was doing.
They
That's
come
it?
and just sit on your arms and stuff and wait for you to.
I've tried this to the pigeons in the back of my house. They don't go for it.
Yeah, they know.
These pigeons also looked like way cleaner than our pigeons.
okay.
I don't know
Well,
what
they're
it was.
living in trees instead of telephone poles and stuff.
Yeah, like in the chimneys of
That was- it was-
old Baltimore row homes. or
It was
something.
really weird to see because every time I seen pigeons, they're like dirt pigeons. They're on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They're walking around on the ground doing stuff. These were in the trees.
Do you ever look at like what they're pecking at and you're like, there's not even anything there. What are you doing right now?
Or they're probably looking at you going, how do you not see this? There's a plethora of
They're like,
food
this
everywhere.
is a treasure trove
Yeah,
of.
you're sitting
yeah.
there picking up cocaine.
You're probably right.
Random vials on the street.
Yeah. You're probably right.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, so
All right, so
that
pigeons.
after the shakeout run, we didn't have to do too much, did we?
No, it was really nice because the hotel had breakfast as well, and so we went and got breakfast and probably hung out there for like an hour and a half, just relaxing, drinking coffee,
British breakfast.
having bagels.
Yeah.
On the scale of places we've been, where do you put the British breakfast?
I mean, I loved it. They have fresh sourdough every morning.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That was okay.
10 points for Gryffindor on that one.
I say Italy had the best breakfast when we were there. That those were great. With the layout was just nice. There was something to find to eat. I didn't. The British one, it's just a lot of cold stuff.
No, they had eggs and porridge and whatever you wanted.
Dude, I don't even care what you put in porridge. If you say porridge, I don't want to eat that.
Well, I saw Danny and them eating it, and I was like, that looks horrible. Like they're in prison, and they're like, no, it's good. I'm like, yeah. It
Wait,
looked
will
like-
you eat it if you call it oatmeal?
Yeah, but not porridge. There's
Okay.
just something
Really, I
about
prefer porridge over oatmeal. Oatmeal
Really?
sounds gross.
it.
Oatmeal.
A meal of oats.
Yeah.
Oatmeal.
A
What
ridge
if you
of
say
poor.
What if you say it with a Baltimore accent?
Oatmeal. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about blood sausage? Did
I was
they
gonna
have
say,
that?
you're talking like the traditional British
English breakfast.
With with
I
the
never
bacon
ordered
and
I didn't
that.
have any
pudding.
beans. I didn't have I almost got it because stewed tomatoes, beans.
Yeah.
And it's like that's gross. Like who wakes up and is like, you know what I want? A stewed tomato.
No, I think an English breakfast is good, minus the blood sausage, which is absolutely disgusting.
Oh, you're part English.
Yeah.
So.
So I grew up eating that stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't really do the beans, but like the tomatoes.
But like this had a nice layout, and I just felt like I was struggling to figure out what to eat in the morning.
Yeah.
Feels more like a you problem.
There was. I mean, there was.
Carbs, man. It's all you need.
Yeah, right?
That's what I was trying to do.
Simplify.
But like they had sourdough bread.
Like that's amazing.
That's it.
No, they had bagels and
Yeah.
sourdough bread,
I struck on the bagels when they came out.
and
they
they
put
had
out like
porridge.
No bangers in the mouth.
two. No, not this time.
Yeah. Tobias Junke was not. Mrs. Featherbottom was not your waiter.
Yeah.
So we tried to chill as much as possible on Saturday because, we are racing on Sunday. But we met Carl for lunch at a
Yeah.
bagel shop.
Was that the first time you saw him?
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Those bagels were good. I
Yeah,
have to give it. What's the name of the place? Because we always end up there, and we.
B bagels.
B
something?
B bagels or something.
Are you sure?
Really
I
creative.
know there's a
Bagel
big
bees or
B.
something?
Really creative name.
Yeah,
Let's just take the first letter and say
Yeah,
it.
B bagels Soho.
yeah. Okay.
But what's really funny is we went to multiple places that we had gone to in 2022 that I didn't realize we had gone to. I just was like searching for like highly rated spots.
Wow, you're like literally a creature of habit.
Yeah, and so like we got to this bagel place and I was like, oh, we've been here before. I was like, damn it.
The bagel was good though.
So
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, we got like a
Oh, I know what I got. I got salted beef.
salted beef. I had the same thing.
Yeah,
Which
delicious.
Thomas was trying to ask the woman behind the counter if this was the same thing as corned beef, and
She was
it
like,
was
shit.
not working out.
She was like, "What?"
She was like, "It's salted beef." I'm like,
"Is it like corned beef?"
Is that like corned beef? And she's like, "It's salted beef."
So
I was
is
like,
it?
"We'll take two."
It's like corned beef. It's
Okay.
chunks of corned beef.
It's
Okay.
thicker cuts.
yeah, like thicker
And-
cuts with like mustard and pickles.
And I have to say, delicious. And that's the other thing about English breakfast. That is probably later on while I got injured, but they do stuff like just have a bun with bacon on it, or have a bun with sausage on it, or have a bun like it's not the egg, cheese.
It's
and
just
bacon.
meat and bread.
It's like bacon and bread.
But they kind of do that in Italy too, right? Like you'll
Yeah.
see just
Is that what it is?
they like doing weird stuff
Yeah.
like
Like
that.
throw an egg and some cheese on it.
Right.
Like someone must have tried an egg McMuffin over
Do they
there.
believe in condiments over there?
Yeah, American
They
cheese
believe in
over
them. They actually had
They have hot sauce.
yeah, hot sauce and stuff.
Okay. I didn't know if that. I didn't feel like that was much of a thing in Italy and stuff, but
Yeah.
all right.
So then we did some. We just walked around a little bit. Carl came back to our hotel with us just to check it out. Then we tried to chill a little bit more before we went and got pizzas at Franco Menka.
People are gonna think I'm
Franco
really
Manca.
bad at it because I'm gonna say again, pizza was.
I thought the pizza
meat-
was good. It was sourdough crust pizza. We picked it up and brought it back to our
Dude,
hotel.
there was like almost zero cheese on this thing.
That's perfect for the night before marathon.
No, what I got was bread with tomato sauce.
Yeah.
I got sourdough bread flat with some tomato on it.
I think I had a DiGiorno the same night. Would you rather eat
That
DiGiorno?
I love a DiGiorno. And by the way, totally underrated. Like the boys like getting delivery now, and I used to make them DiGiorno all the time. That stuff is amazing.
DiGiorno is pretty awesome.
It's not delivery.
Like
It's better.
honestly, it is better than some.
And it's like
delivery, for sure.
$5.99.
Yeah, if you go to BJ's, you get the 3-pack. It's like $12.
Dude, that's ridiculous. Because
Yeah.
that is good. Like I would have much rather had a DiGiorno.
What? No,
And-
this pizza was good.
and I
Everyone
gotta
in
tell you-
London right now is like,
yeah.
I think the one that we got the first time we went to London, because I don't think we went to Franco's when we went
Franco
in the
Banco's.
thing. I thought that was
Banca.
better. And here's the other thing I didn't like about this restaurant. There was 100 tables open, just open.
Oh, you can't have that's too
And
many.
they're like, do you have a reservation? I'm like, what? There's nobody here.
Yeah.
Every place in London was like, do you have a reservation?
Yeah,
like
they're
you have to
very into
plan there. They
reservations.
love it. They do not like you to come in like you're at hair cuttery.
Yeah.
So we get there and we're like, can we get a table for two? Meanwhile, a sea of tables.
Right.
A lady even comes up to us and she's like, oh, hey, you're Megan and Thomas, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that'll definitely get us a table now. And the lady's like, no, they're all reserved. And I said, well, how long does it take to make pizza to go? And she goes, about 10 minutes. So I'm thinking, I could have sat there, gotten the pizza, ate the pizza. How long does it take?
And did
to
a
eat
huge
pizza?
rush of people come in through the
No,
door?
so we come back. We go, okay, we're going to leave and we'll come back when the pizzas are ready. 10 minutes later, we come back. All the tables are still open. Like, literally, we would have sat down, ate our pizzas, and gone.
should
It would have
have-
taken no time at all.
You should have had Carl following you around as a paparazzi photographer, going crazy. You'd be in there in a second.
Another a couple walked in behind us.
And they wigged out.
Yeah, the guy was losing his mind because she said the hostess said the same thing. Like, do you have a reservation? And they were like, no. He's like, we want one pizza. He's like, we'll split it and we'll go. And she was like, no, I can't
So-
seat you.
And then the funny thing was, because like one pizza was that to them nothing. He's like, you just lost business. So I'm like, yeah, that $5.99 is gonna really.
So you could just, why couldn't you? Could you just go on your phone right then, or just be like, yeah, can I make a reservation right now?
I didn't try that, but
they don't.
I
let you-
have a feeling. So it was like right before 6 p.m. I have a feeling she had a lot of 6 p.m. reservations.
All right.
So I was like, whatever.
Yeah, but we
It
got
was fine.
we got the pizza back to the place.
Yeah. And then, the next day was race morning.
So we get they had nice shuttle buses from the hotel.
So the first time we ran London Marathon, we did the normal, take the tube to the start line. And that was fine. That was quite easy.
It was a train. We took a train.
train.
Yeah, but I have to say, I actually think that might be the smarter way to go.
Yeah. So what was lovely is that New Balance had these coach buses waiting for us out front of the lobby.
Okay.
For us to take to the start line.
Okay.
But for whatever reason,
You mean there's traffic with 55,000
well, they
people?
didn't shut down
largest marathon
They
in the
didn't
world.
shut down any of the roads leading into what is it, Greenwich?
Yeah, I guess so.
And so there's normal cars on this road to the marathon, not going to the marathon, and there's insane traffic. We're looking at
How far are you from the start?
At one point, we were probably 2 miles from the start,
Okay.
and it took us 45 minutes to go a mile.
Okay.
It was like that, have you ever watched your waves or whatever, and the time just keeps getting later and later and later, and you're not really moving?
Yeah, I don't use Waze, but I know I should or whatever.
So it's it just keeps getting later and later, and it's the start time is 9:30, and we're on the bus, and it's about 8:30 at this point, and it's we have 1.7 miles to go, and we're not moving.
Right.
And so eventually, we get this opening, and then it moves a little bit, but then it stops again, then we move a little bit, and so I think at 8:45, 8:50,
We hop out.
we're getting out of the bus.
Do they have scooters, bike? Do they have stuff like that there?
Not where we
Limes?
were though.
Yeah, they had limes.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're out in the country at this
Yeah,
point.
we're we're out of the heart of the city.
Oh.
We jump out of the truck. We go with Danny, a couple other people, and we shoot up. And I have to tell you,
Hold on, time. Sorry. So a mile and a half away is out from the start. Is not in the city. I guess.
It felt I don't know.
you know how if you
I've
in
never
a
been
normal
there.
city,
Yeah.
like Chicago, not like Baltimore because we turn into a county. But if Baltimore was a county, was part of the city, it would be like we were in Towson.
Okay. I got you. So there was yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. All right. Carry on.
It says that there's still a mile or less than a mile. It's 0.7 or something. So that's when we decide to jump out. And it turns out we're basically almost to this giant field. So it worked out fine. We find
I don't know about you, but I was more calm going into this one than I think I've ever been.
I was getting nervous on the bus when I was are we going to actually make the start time?
Yeah.
But I calmed down once we made it into the yellow big corral and we got into the field.
What about the tent? They had a killer
And then
VIP tent.
yeah, so we had through New Balance the VIP hospitality in the morning. So they had this big tent. It had coffee, food, private bathrooms, similar to what we had in New York, but nicer,
And
if you will.
a bunch of people that you've seen on Instagram that maybe I don't know everybody's name. I know I even follow there's this one girl that I follow that Rami or something, I forget her name, but so I see her content and she's there. There's the Ross Performance, that guy we had. I mean, so many people. I can't name everybody, but Alex was there, Alex Felitti, and those guys. So it was a tent full of people that you'd recognize.
And someone had the audacity to wear a pair of Alpha Fly 3s in there.
Nice.
And I was like, this is awkward.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you know this person?
No, I'd never seen them in my life. But yeah, so that was really great. And then Alex Felitti and Tim,
Tim, who you know from Kenya.
Yeah.
they were in wave 1, which I was in. So they came and collected me to go to the start line when it was our time to go, which was nice because you and everyone else were in 2 and 3. And so before the race, we had a call with our coach and kind of decided that between the weather and then for me, because I had been on antibiotics for 10 days, that like racing was kind of out, but could attempt a hard effort. So going into the race, the thought was I start at 7 minutes, 6:45s, and then just try and progressively get faster.
Okay. And
Which doesn't sound slow, but for Meaghan,
That felt to me that I was like, that seems
right.
reasonable.
So real quick, coming up, kind of a recap of the last episode. How did your disease progress? Or what? Infection?
Yeah.
Infectious disease?
My paratonsillar abscess.
Yeah. It actually sounds grosser than saying
I know,
disease.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like halitosis.
Well, so the
Did you get halitosis from the abscess?
no,
All right.
She don't know.
I was on antibiotics until race day, so like I was feeling better, but not great. Antibiotics kind of mess with your GI system, and you just don't feel right.
Okay.
And then on top of it, like the travel to get there and coming off of Boston, like I never even had time to like relax and see how I was actually feeling because it was kind of just like a constant go.
Mm-hmm.
But I just felt off.
Okay.
But in my mind, I was like, I can maybe just attempt a harder effort. And I was in that like delusional phase of maybe I'll wake up and just feel great and it'll just be a great day.
Yeah.
And so that I kept on to that like little bit of hope the whole time until we started running.
Yeah, and for me, I didn't really know what my goal was for the race. We've been working stuff, so I had a general idea of where maybe we wanted to be. But when we got out, he's like, look, I know we wanted to go a little faster with these temps. Why don't we go out at 8:45 and just see how that feels and try to hold that and go out? Which at first I was like, that seems really slow.
Yeah.
But it turns out he was on the money because it ended up working out just fine. But yeah, it was my walkout was different. So Meg went with Alex.
So yeah, I went with Alex and Tim. We were in wave 1, but we placed ourselves in the back of wave 1.
Okay.
So there was like probably thousands of people in front of us. And it was cool though because we were in this field and then to the right of us was the start line. So we got to see everyone like starting the race before we like kind of turned around and started it ourselves.
Oh, I got you. Okay. So it's like a U-turn?
Yeah, but so our start line was not the pro field start line. So I'd actually never run the first 3 miles of this race.
3 start lines, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So to accommodate all the
56,000 runners.
There's 3 different areas in which the race starts, which, I was using the Wahoo kicker to do the race.
Yeah.
So I don't think my start 2 miles is the same as what I've been practicing on. But I will tell you, knowing that the heat was there and then thinking I did like most of my speed work training indoors in 70 degrees or whatever the house is, gave me a little extra confidence.
So did you think when you were at the start, did you think maybe you time traveled for the first 2 miles, that you were in a different part? Maybe you were in like Charles Dickens,
I was
London?
like, well, we started running. I was like, why don't I remember any of this?
Yeah.
I was like, none of this looks familiar. And then I was like, oh, because I've never actually run this before.
Like those antibiotics are pretty strong.
Yeah, like wow, really, really got me. But so anyway, we were in the starting corral, and Alex Flitti is asking me what my goals were, and then I was asking him about his, and he had just DNF'd Boston Marathon because of a leg issue, and he was like, I already had this bib. He's like, so I'm here, but he's like, I might DNF at 5K, I might DNF at 13. But
what happened?
Like hamstring or something.
I think it's calf.
Or
he was complaining about that.
Okay. It was some sort of leg issue.
Okay.
And it was funny because he was asking what pace I was going to start at, and I'm like 6:45 to 7, and he was like, what does that mean in kilometers? And I was like, I have no idea.
Like
so we're like
30?
trying to do math and like figure out what pace this is. And he's like, I'm just going to run with you if that's okay. And I'm like, that would be great. I would love some company. And so.
Well, it's funny because when I was, sorry, not to interrupt you,
No, go
but
ahead.
when I was tracking you guys on the London Marathon app or whatever,
Yeah.
it says everything in kilometers. So I'm like, had to pull up a different
Chart.
website that charted out.
I mean, for me, I
kilometers
know,
and miles.
like if you do the 5K, I know that 10K, I know.
The distances are easier
Yeah,
than
that's
paces.
fine. The paces,
the
Yeah,
paces,
the
yeah.
split paces was like 5:20. I'm like, that
Mm-hmm.
sounds like he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, they're ripping.
They showed mile. They showed minute to mile for me.
Maybe it
What
was,
app were you using?
He's using the VPN.
Like I think Thomas was 840s basically. And
Yeah.
I was like, all right, he's locked in.
Maybe I was using the websites. Maybe that's
Oh,
why.
okay, I was using the mobile app.
So Alex and I started together and we went out at like I think it was like a 6:45, somewhere right in there. And I was like, maybe you should have started at 7, but it felt like okay. So I was like, this is fine. And I was like, I just won't ever speed up. Like my goal was to get faster throughout the day. And I was like, I'll just hold this.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
feels right. And so, yeah, we ran
Well,
30K together, but yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was just going to say, so you guys are out running.
Yeah.
I started probably 20 minutes behind you.
Wave 3.
Wave 3?
Yeah.
So I'm out there, and this is what I think is the craziest thing about these world majors. How many people are there? 55,000, right? And I look over, and there's Issa from Bro.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, what's up, Issa? And he's like, hey, yo. And he runs over. And so we're having a conversation. Of course,
That's funny.
I get in line. This lady's like, I recognize your voice. You know, it's like the craziest thing that with all these people, you run into people.
Right.
They like, how is it even possible?
Yeah.
And so my wave started a little bit behind Megan's. And so I have no idea. Like, I'm like where you're going to be in the race when I'm at a place. So I was hoping I'd see you at one of the
Turnarounds?
switchbacks, but I guess you were a little slower than it needed to be for that. But I did see Ben Johnson. But I ended up pretty much running by myself and until I met up with a girl from Brooklyn. And then we just kind of locked in on pace. But it was crazy because I do think it was a little cooler when we started. And just the general, it's kind of rolling and almost like a little downhill in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And the spirit and the energy level of the people around you was really high. I did find it was hard. Like I kept having to hold myself back because I was like,
Like from running too fast?
yeah.
Wow, I never had that.
You didn't? Okay.
Not even a little bit.
I was like, when we were going down, I was like, all right, just be calm. I know you feel good now. It's a long day. I remember that stretch. Whatever that thing is, there's part of the course that I just don't love, which is once you cross over the bridge, the Tower Bridge, that area
After
that's down
12,
there, it just seems just not the same. All right, second check-in. Now, I have to say, one of the best things I did during this marathon was probably make sure that I had my electrolytes in and was totally hydrated, especially on a hot day. You hear it all the time. People are like, hey, make sure you stay hydrated. But it really is super important. And my marathon went pretty well. It was only until like the last little bit that I started feeling a little twinge in my hamstring. And I know that if I'd been a little less hydrated, that thing could have turned into something that would have turned my race day sideways. But glad it didn't. So make sure you're hydrating.
All right, today's episode is sponsored by Pillar Performance.
I've been loving using this, Meg.
Yeah, so we've heard about this brand, but we just started using it more frequently as of a few months ago. And they have everything from collagen, magnesium, creatine, vitamin C.
I've been using all of it. So I had one of the healthiest training sessions ever leading up to the London Marathon, and I was using their omega-3s and the B vitamins before the runs to get a little energy. And then when you had your cold and we didn't know what it was, I was down in that C, that stuff that's supposed to help with your immune system boost. That, and of course the collagen we've been throwing in our coffee every morning. So I've been using that, and between that and some of the other things I've been doing, I really felt like I was on top of my nutrition game.
Yeah, and you know it's good when the NN running athletes are also using their products. Especially, they talked about how the triple magnesium, it helps boost recovery.
Yeah, I use that for sleep.
Which you can see on your wearable. So if you haven't yet, definitely go check out Pillar. You can enter the code BITR on the feed, which is where to purchase their products, and receive 15% off your first order.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, see, I never had those like feeling like it was the worst because I was trying so hard to be like, you're in London. This is amazing. You need to be so grateful for this experience. And I was like, I'm uncomfortable. This sucks.
At what time?
Like at mile like 5 or 6. And, you know, I'm with Alex and he told me he was going to DNF at 13. And I'm like, I'm going to DNF when he DNFs.
Were you really?
What was the?
That's
what
what's
was
going through my mind.
That would've made me
because
sad.
he was hurting, or because
He said if the pain got too extreme, he would just stop running.
okay,
But he thought that-
why did he set it at mile 13?
He just thought that maybe he would make it to there. Because I asked the same thing. I was like, is that a good
Maybe just
spot?
halfway.
Okay.
I was like, is that like a good place to get off the course and get to the finish line? Like I was thinking logistically. And he's like, no, I actually have no idea. But
That would be
so-
around Tower Bridge.
Yeah, so we run through Tower Bridge, and at this point, he's like encouraging me because he realizes I'm having a shit day. And he's like, you're doing great. You can keep going. And I'm like, are you going to keep running? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, fuck.
oh man,
Now I got to keep running.
oh man.
So I'm like, okay, pull yourself together. I'm like mentally like trying to hype myself up this whole time and being like, you are in this amazing place. Just enjoy it. But I'm just like, my stomach is not good. I just don't feel well. Like I just feel like general fatigue over my entire body.
Oh jeez. Did you take a bathroom break during the race?
I did.
Which mile was it?
Mile 16.
Alex waited for you.
Yeah, and I was like,
No.
okay, at this point, I was like, Alex, just go. Like, I'm going to stop and use these restrooms. And he was like, no, I'm waiting for you. We'll just run together. And I was like, look at this guy.
Wow.
He's so sweet.
Nice.
Your
So-
pace looks fine for that.
No,
mile.
so if you look at Strava, go to the workout
oh, I see. Okay.
versus, yeah, when you stop, the watch takes it out of a race. I don't know why.
Even on a race setting.
Yeah, because I didn't stop my watch or anything. And
That's
you can
weird.
see it go down in the workout, but you can't see it on the. Anyway, so yeah, I stopped at mile 16, and then he stayed with me until 30K, and at this point, actually after 14, I was like, I can't tolerate any sort of gels or anything, because my stomach's just like, I'm like, I'm either gonna throw up or have to use the bathroom. So I like, after he left me at 30K, I was like, I'm not going to DNF now because what is there,
And-
12K to go?
And you thought he had DNF'd at this point.
Yeah. Well, he did. He said, I'm going to stop here.
Okay.
And he stopped on the side of the road. So I waved goodbye and then I kept running.
You must have felt terrible because you don't wear a heart rate monitor, do you?
No, just the chorus.
Sometimes it's a little bit off, but your heart rate was like crazy, like low for a race.
Which is,
So you just must have felt terrible.
I don't know if that's accurate because all of my data on my heart rate in general was elevated for the past 2 weeks.
What did it say your heart rate was during the race? Did you know?
Oh, I don't.
Through
I
your
didn't,
ring?
I didn't check that. I should.
Because on Strava, it's saying like you maxed out at basically 160.
That's pretty high for Meg, though. if you
No,
think about
like
it, isn't it?
a lot of times, it also says a lot of times my easy runs are like 170, 180, which is not accurate.
Yeah, the watch is not that accurate,
Yeah.
but usually okay. All right.
Yeah.
And
anyways.
I'm having the opposite experiences of Meg. I'm kind of out there, and I'm like, I know today's going to be a long day. I know it's going to be hot. I suck in hot weather marathon, so I was more worried that like I've never had a good hot marathon. Like it always just has ruined my days. Like when we ran New York, with Jarrett and stuff, that was it was miserable. Boston last year was really tough coming through. So like getting out there, I was like, hey, this doesn't feel terrible. If I keep it easy, I should be okay. And that was my biggest struggle, is not to run a little bit faster in the beginning, because I was like, I don't know, I'm feeling pretty good. And the first half, though, of the London Marathon, I think is one of the best halves of a marathon period. You kind of just roll through. It's kind of like the crowds are nice. It's kind of like rolling hills, and you get to like the Cutty Sark ship, which is cool. You get to run around that. Like it's what you expect from London. And last time it must have been cloudy or over haze, because I didn't see as much. Like this time I could see the Thames. I could see, I didn't even remember seeing Big Ben last time.
Yeah, Thomas was like, they must have changed the course because I saw Big Ben this time. And I was like, no, the course was the same after the beginning.
I don't know. But I was having fun. My biggest issue was it just got so I met up that girl that was from Brooklyn. Monique, we ran together for a while, and that was just nice to have somebody kind of like just pacing, like we were both, trying to be around, the same pace. And so that was cool. Even though we weren't talking a lot, I felt like I was running with someone. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what happened. I got off Tower Bridge and she was gone. So
she was like, finally.
Yeah, she probably stopped. She's like, you go on. So like, I don't know what happened. Like that was that. And so then it was like, and I do feel like this is the loneliest part of the course too. It's just, it gets a little quieter. The crowds aren't quite as thick. And it's just like one of those, like just a long.
This is mile 14? What?
Yeah, it's like 14 through.
Probably 14 through 16.
20, yeah. And you come through. The highlight of that one is seeing the switchback. So I saw Ben Johnson and those guys, the faster runners coming back the other side. I didn't realize. At that point, I'm probably at mile 16. They're at mile 22. So they had 4 miles to go. Ben looked, of course, as usual.
Waving.
Hey, I'm out here running.
Speaking of Ben's, that guy is a Benjamin Button. Like,
yeah.
He gets younger the more he ages.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is up with you in that basement lab you're working in? Doing some sort of weird experiments on it.
I think it's the hair, the new haircut.
Yeah, he's got the hair now.
It's everything. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, he looked great.
So how long is the out and back stretch? I was like trying to look at it on the map. Pretty long, right?
It seems long, but then when you come back the other way and you're like, oh, good, I'll get to see people.
Like literally every part of that course felt long. I was like, this is the longest mile of my life. No, this is the longest mile of my life.
Longer than the mile 25 at Tokyo.
Oh, I was pacing someone
one.
and having a good time, so I was fine with that one.
I was having a fun time, and that one was a long one.
That was the worst mile of my
So you know how
life.
it started getting really warm towards the end of Tokyo? Mm-hmm. That was pretty much the whole
second half
of London. Yeah.
Nope.
But I ended up, I think, Carl, where were you posted up? Like mile 20?
Yeah, so I was, around mile 23, 22 for the most part, which is the embankment, which is like the main. I was asking people, like, where's a good spot to watch? And they had given me a bunch of other suggestions, which I was like, great, I'll go there. Like the Cuddy Starship, or whatever you were talking about. And then like that morning loading up my phone, like the Google Maps, I'm like, oh, it's that far. Like, I'm not going to run there, and I'm not going to spend money to get there.
What did you think when you saw me at mile 23?
Well, I saw you had a water bottle in your hand and you were just chugging water. So I'm like, all right, yeah, like she's definitely feeling the heat. Everyone is. I mean, I was standing there for like an hour and a half. Like once I picked that spot, I stayed there. So I watched all the wheelchair finishers. I watched a lot of the pros come through. Got a lot of good photos there. But I was standing in that same spot waiting for you guys to like at least pass.
I mean, when I came by, did I seem like I wasn't in fine spirits?
You were great. I think for you, I switched over. I took the footpath underneath, and I came out the other side. And yeah, I think you were around mile 22. But I was surprised like that you heard when I called your name.
I couldn't believe I heard you too, because like the whole time I thought maybe you had been like earlier, because we had talked about you being like 6 or something. Yeah. So I just assumed I had missed you. And then I think it was like last minute I heard you and turned.
Yeah, I saved all my cheering energy for you guys.
I
didn't go out and like, I wasn't screaming the whole time.
Yeah.
Somebody did ask what we did for nutrition. They want to know what we did for nutrition for the run and hydration.
I do the same thing every time, which is I carry a bottle of Scratch, and then since it was hot, I added some extra element into it for some more sodium, and then I do all Mortons. So I would normally do 6 or 7. I think I got down 4 before I just couldn't tolerate them anymore.
Yeah, I did a handheld of Element, strictly Element, and I do actually think it helped because I just sipped on it for the first half of the marathon.
It's also so nice like to not have to navigate the water stations, and you can just run down the center with your bottle.
Yeah, but I also noticed like even my hat and my clothing weren't caked in salt like they normally are, which is kind of strange because I would think I'm taking in more salt, I'm going to sweat more salt. But that did work out pretty well. I was surprised because normally I don't like carrying a bottle, but I think especially with the temperatures, it helped a ton.
There's also 2 amazing things about London. The course itself is one, the water they have on course are actual bottles, So like a flip top, so it's easy to drink, and then you can carry it with you, which is what I had, Carl, when you saw me. And also they have showers every 5K. And when I say showers, like freezing cold water.
But that was set up because of the heat.
Yeah. But it was like
And
shockingly cold.
Oh, nice.
So like when you ran through it, like not only were you getting like wet, but like it like woke you up. Like you were like
really did.
revived.
That sounds cool.
You got that little sting of like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then they had ice chips. So I started eating those and I was like, maybe I shouldn't eat these, you know? Yeah. And then I just started throwing them under my hat and putting my hat back on.
And then you found out they were paint chips.
Yeah, it were lead paint. But it worked out. Yeah, for me, I did a pre-run gel, and then I had 7 gels with me. I thought I took them all, but I'd only taken 6. I did one every 4 miles, and it seemed to work out. So
you don't do it by time, you do it by miles?
I do it by miles and also like terrain. So if it's uphill when I hit a certain mileage or something like that, then I'll just be like, I'll wait till I get a spot that isn't uphill.
Okay.
What I'll usually do is get it like in my hand ready and pull the cord so that I can,
Every 30 minutes, unless like Thomas was saying, if an uphill hits at that point, then I will wait until it's.
I should probably try the course thing to do every 30 minutes. Just have a timer on that does every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I just did it that way, and it worked out. I felt like I took my last gel at mile 24, and I was good to go. But it was like, for me, once we hit, I don't know why, but so if you've been to London, around the palace it has like almost like red stone asphalt, and I thought it was a lot shorter. Like the amount of asphalt that was red was a shorter amount. So we got towards that end where you could see Big Ben, and we're coming up. I'm like, oh, we're going to be going around the little circle any minute, and I'm going to be heading for the finish line. And it just kept dragging on. And I'm like, every split too was long. I never got to a mile marker. My watch beeped beeped when I got there. It always was like.
Well, it was impossible to run the tangents. Like half you know how they do that thing where so people can cross the road, so they like move half the thing, so like half the road's closed, and then you move it back over here.
Yeah.
So the tangent line, like every time I was coming, would run through like where they had moved people over to. So like you couldn't ever run the tangents.
Right.
But even that, like I kept hitting my lap button.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting close to it. So I was like, maybe we're going to have one of those really short miles, like every once in a while they correct. And I'm like, we're getting close to the finish. This seems really long. But then, I was just, at this point I was pretty tired, but when you get to that fountain that's right in front of Buckingham Palace, this thing is gorgeous.
I was just jogging at that point.
I was full on 6-minute mile at that point.
Yeah.
No, I was jogging myself. It was the end of the marathon. It was hot out.
Yeah. It was very lovely to see the finish line though. And I'm very glad that I didn't DNF and I finished it, because I think I would have been pretty sad for the rest of the day if we went all the way to London and I didn't.
That's the biggest thing. Like
finish.
I'm trying to figure out, okay, we've done London before. We've done plenty of marathons. Sometimes I'm like, what's my motivation to go and do it? Especially because it's a long day. And it's making me time. And it's a long day, and it's just crazy. So I'm like trying to figure out why I keep doing them.
Did you figure it out?
I did. I think I just love like the whole process of sharing that pre-race energy and nervousness with people, running the race and sharing some miles with people, and then especially that feeling afterwards where like I felt such a sense of relief. I had my medal. We were going out for getting drinks.
How many marathons have you done now?
I think
It's over 40, right?
Yeah, it's over 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just that feeling of, when we got to the pub and we were sitting, I'm eating a burger. I know I just spent it out there all day. It's such a good feeling.
That is a good feeling.
And then this one lady that we ran into, she ran what would be an OTQ time on this day.
Yeah, Jenny Donnelly. So after the race, we showered up and then we were like, let's just go find a pub. So that was it took us a little while to find some place that wasn't absolutely packed. What was it called? Some Manfoot or something?
They all have
Remember?
weird names like
Yeah, you
pork
told me
and
where you
bun.
were. I was like,
What was it called? It was
I
something
don't know.
foot, wasn't it?
It was something with foot in it.
King's Foot.
I
Yeah.
swear it was like
Yeah.
Manfoot or something.
I think that's a channel Carl subscribed to on.
Man,
Yeah, I'm like, I just had that on last night. What do you mean?
But anyway, it was pretty close to our hotel, and that's where I had my first fish and chips. Thomas, you got the burger, but we ended up just more and more people were just showing up at this little bar.
a really good burger.
And Jenny Donnelly was one of them, and she ran a 2:36 something.
Okay.
And so she was on the Puma Fast R or Project 3 team.
She missed it.
She PR'd by 2 minutes and 59 seconds.
I mean, next time try harder. Just kidding. That's insane.
How
Yeah.
insane is that?
I was like, they better give it to her. That's
Well-
ridiculous.
I don't know, man.
I mean, rules
There's
are rules. Right?
Yeah, you got
They're-
rules
they
for a
chose that
reason.
number for a reason.
Yeah.
And again, the Project 3, the whatever, they had a pretty good outcome.
Yeah.
It was like not quite as high as Boston, but
I think it was
or
higher.
it was more, but there was more people running London, I think. Right?
No, it was equal. It was 90 and 90. It was, but I think Boston was more successful than London.
Well, it was hot in London.
So it was. I'm sorry.
You mean London?
London was more successful than Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the stats right here. So 90 people did the London Marathon in the shoe. 39 beat their previous marathon records. Lucy Jones was the women's side winner. 22-minute time improvement over PR.
Whoa.
So it's significant. And then our boy Kevin Silvano.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin was like not 14th or something.
18th
18th?
overall.
That's pretty amazing.
They had to pay. They paid out $78,000 in prizes.
Nice.
It's a lot.
So the other exciting finish was Alex Yee.
Yeah.
So he's
Which I didn't realize Carl was such a
yeah,
big
Carl,
fan
why don't
of.
you give us a rundown on Alex Yee?
Yeah, Alex, he's a great triathlete. He won Paris, the triathlon Paris this past year. So we were there when he won it.
He won gold in the triathlon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the Olympic triathlon,
The
which is
Olympic-
Yes,
just
10K.
yeah,
that's
it's
like a
10K
short
run,
thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
A 25-mile bike. And
That's the
like,
one. That's the introductory.
okay.
That's like
for
your
me.
start of like
Yeah.
distance.
If you're
like
trying
long distance.
Yeah, if you're trying.
So
a
this was
triathlon.
his first marathon.
So his marathon debut clocked in a 2:11:08.
second British person,
Second
right
British.
behind Mohammed.
Yeah, and then I think 14th overall.
Yeah.
So pretty strong debut.
And just like such a little sweetheart.
Such a cute little guy.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
he's a pretty cool guy. And it was funny. I saw like what he said after he finished. He crossed the line, and like someone asked him how he was. He was like, "God damn, marathon is hard."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
He
"That's
also
cool."
got a warm day, so
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
doubly.
Yeah, he killed it though.
Did you meet him?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
came to the after party at the townhouse.
Oh, nice.
You didn't see the pictures of Carl with him?
Fangirling.
Yeah, you didn't see me put his time on Instagram telling everyone like a proud mom what he did.
My boy did it.
Meanwhile, he has no idea who I am.
Wait, when was that?
While we're talking about the marathon, we might as well talk about the shoe before we move on from that. So we wore the New Balance SC Elite V5, which we've had for
a few months now.
a few months to get some training runs in it. But it is a drastically different shoe than version 4.
That's where I think the issue is going to be is I really like it, but I think there's going to be some people that really liked what made the V4 different than the other super trainers out or race day shoes out there.
I agree with you, but I also totally understand why they made the changes because we were using the SC Elite V4 for our long runs that were easy.
Yeah.
We were not racing in them.
No.
And it essentially was like the SC trainer. That's how we were using the SC Elite.
Yes.
So they took...
Well, for me, the SE V4 was a little bit on the heavy side.
Yeah.
It was wide,
It was like
so
one
it
of
was
the
pretty
heaviest race
stable.
shoes.
So it was a really comfortable shoe, but it wasn't what I would consider something that felt like a rocket on your feet.
Yeah, it didn't feel fast. And if anyone ever asked us if they were like, I want an entry-level race day shoe, that was the shoe that we always recommended.
Yeah, it's very accommodating. This changes that. It's got a much narrower platform. They've changed the drop on it from a 4 millimeter to 8 millimeter. So you're looking at 40 in the heel, 32 in the forefoot. And they retune the plate in the shoe.
Yeah. It's also just a smaller shoe. Like
Yeah.
everything about it is smaller. It's more narrow, like you were saying. So there's just like not less foam in the heel, but less foam in general.
Right.
Like a less wide platform.
Yeah.
But what that does is it reduces the weight by a ton. And it makes it feel more like a fast race shoe.
Yeah, and the new plate gives it more of an inflection off the toe, so it has a little more like oomph off the toe, I think.
Yeah. I did a couple training runs in it, and I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous about running the marathon in it because I just felt like the less foam in the forefoot, the less like wide shoe, like I just didn't think I was going to like it as much. I mean, I didn't race, if you will, but I have zero complaints about it.
Yeah. Another thing they did for it is there's a new outsole on the bottom, which is a lighter rubber but still durable. Traction was fine on the course. You know, you're always running through water stations and stuff like that. And there's a lot of water on the course with the way that they had the hoses set up.
And showers, yeah.
But the one complaint people had was the heel counter didn't have enough cushioning. So there's more cushioning in the heel counter and the tongue. So overall, and they made a lighter mesh upper, but overall, I think I really liked it. I thought it was a good shoe. It's still not going to be now. It seems like everybody's dropping weight. So you're looking at some of the competitors are even going less weight. So as they're catching up with last year's weights, I think that now there's even like.
How much does that weigh?
I got it right here. Hold on. What's it weigh for in the 9.5?
The 9.5 was. I had it up and now it's gone. The only thing.
Okay, so this is good. So it's 7.97 ounces for size 10.5, and that's 226 grams. Okay. So that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's race day light. Yeah, the 9.5 they say is 7.3 ounces.
And believe it or not, I may have seen what's to come in the future. So. I think what this shoe keeps for me, the shoe keeps getting better. I do think that there will be a section of people who really liked what the SE4 offered.
Yeah.
That are going to be maybe a little bit upset, but for me, this has the pop off the toe. The cushioning is all there. My feet felt fine after the run.
Yeah, my feet felt fine.
No issues at all. Again, like Meaghan, I wasn't cranking it out, but I did speed workouts and stuff in this before we went to London, and the shoe turns over really well.
The colorway that we got, which I'm just going to say it, I think is absolutely heinous,
I like it.
is not going to be available, so don't even worry about it.
Yeah, right. So it's going to be more like the colorway you saw Alex Yee wear, which has the red with a black end. So these are collector's items, and I also dig that. Meg didn't like it. I kind of like it. It
grew on me a little bit, but no, I'm not into it.
Reminds me of Pizza Hut.
Okay, I see it.
I don't know about that.
That's like the logo colors, like red, black, and white.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll do a full review on the website, obviously, like normal.
And then we each got one of these medals.
Yeah.
Did that get you a free beer?
Dude, the medals
got me
get
a free
you
burger.
Everything.
Really?
Like, you are famous if you have that medal with you.
Yeah.
It's wild.
We went to Bill's.
Yeah, there's a place called Bill's in Soho that, okay, so this is, remember how I said I kept going to places?
Yeah.
Remember how we got the free burgers last time?
Yeah.
It was at Bill's, which I didn't know, didn't realize. We walk in here and I'm like, this looks familiar. And I pull up my phone and I have a picture of Paul Lang sitting in the chair that we're like looking at. And I was like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah. So we got free burgers again.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, we went back to the townhouse for the New Balance party after the event, which
I
was
didn't
fun.
even notice this had this on the medal. It says, we finished together.
It said that last time and you giggled like that last time.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what was it? What was that controversy? Did you see that? It was a dumb controversy. Somebody got mad because you know how Nike does that branding now with the red and black.
Yeah.
And it said never again until next year or something.
Yeah.
Well, I guess like people say never again because of the Holocaust. Which is a ridiculous.
I saw that on Threads.
Which is a ridiculous stretch of words. You can't copyright that phrase.
Never again. Yeah.
I say that like every day.
Well, okay.
Every day I wake up and drink too much.
Here's a good thing is I didn't think about that, but now that you say that Nike did it, now I'm thinking about that, and now, hey, look, Never.
And
again.
I guess because red and black is like Nazi colorway,
come
people are
on.
like, how did this pass? Like,
Yeah, someone at Nike needs to be fired.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
the team. I'm just
No,
like,
they
dude,
don't.
no,
come
they
on,
don't.
man.
No,
I think
they
it was a
don't.
conservative person too, where I'm like, oh, I thought you're like anti-cancel culture, you know? It's
Yeah.
like you should.
Yeah.
Not just that, like, yeah. Come
Yeah.
on, people. It's not everything. It's something.
No, it's just a
Yeah,
dumb.
you're just looking
And if you
for
knew,
something.
then that Nike's been using this ad campaign for the last year and a
I
half.
did think it was weird they came out with Air Jack boots, but other than that,
right. Yeah, the lightning bolts for the not great. No.
I gotta give Nike props for their like signage when like during the marathon. Like you see Nike signs when you're like they did it in Chicago,
Well,
they did it
Boston,
in
they did it in
London, they did it in Boston.
it's
Oh,
a great
yeah.
example of sometimes less is more. So you have that bright orangish red color, which is associated with Nike, and the bold like font and just plain
Yeah.
sans serif font. When you saw those signs, you read them, and they were on the race course, so it was always like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like you were getting like if
There
you
was a
don't
really
hate
good
this-
one that said you've officially done a half marathon when you were at what like 6
That's pretty
miles
good.
or something.
Yeah.
I like that.
They had that at Boston as well.
Yeah.
That's one that we
Oh,
saw.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had it was clever, and I enjoyed it.
Somebody was saying, I think this happened at Boston, but I'm not sure. But this is such a good idea that there was like an anti-expo or whatever. So basically, just a bunch of smaller brands team up, and instead of paying the expo fee,
Yeah, but I went there
They're
and it was
like-
sad.
Did you go to it?
I did.
Who was there?
I don't
Was it-
want to say
was it-
because
Just say who was it? Like Rabbit and other brand?
no, Rabbit had a billion.
I'm just
remember,
saying
'cause
smaller
it-
brand. I'm just saying smaller brand.
Yeah, I don't want to say.
You went in Boston?
Yeah,
Well, who'd you go with?
was I with you?
No, I don't think so.
Must have been with Jarrett.
So did you accidentally happen upon it, or did you actually?
I mean, I was walking up and down the street and I saw the little thing.
And it was that. It was
Yeah.
I think the concept is actually good.
Yeah, it makes sense.
If it grew and you could get bigger people. Yeah, if it's micro brands.
No,
probably not
I
great.
mean it's not that. It's also like I think it would be cool. Like I think what they had in London, they did something cool that we didn't end up going to, but Danny and the crew went to, where it was like all the kind of edgier brands were doing like a warehouse.
yeah.
thing.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
This one was not that.
it's not that.
Final check-in. You know, one of the toughest things as a runner is getting yourself to continue to move forward when you just don't feel like it anymore. And there's all kinds of tricks you can play, like run up to the next stop sign, run up to the next 50 steps, just anything to keep you moving. But definitely when you see people in the marathon starting to fade and people starting to walk, it gets in your head and you kind of are like, geez, I could use a walk too. But maybe use it the flip side and motivate yourself to just keep passing people who are slowing down or stopping and walking. And maybe that's all you need to just click them off. Like be like, that's one more person that I'm going to pass and finish ahead of in this marathon just because I'm able to power through when I wanted to stop. So just keep rolling.
All right, today's episode is also sponsored by our friend SWIFTWICK.
Yep. We've been using these socks for a long time, long before they decided to rebrand and kind of move in a new direction. And that's the thing. The socks have always, the one thing they've maintained was its quality. They last a long time. I probably still have socks that are probably, I don't know, 6, 7 years old.
And here's how you know that we like their socks. We both used SWIFTWICK socks for the London Marathon.
We did. It was a perfect sock for my shoe choices.
Yeah, I'm still pro ankle. I think you like the
I
taller.
like the little bit of the short crew.
Yeah, Robbie, what's your preference?
I'm in between. I flip flop.
Okay, you like both.
They're both great though.
I was wondering, I was looking at my London photos. I'm like, is it going to look dated because I have the crew socks on or something in the future?
It looks good.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
like
wore them for the relay run that we did in Boston.
Nice.
And I think I wore the Flight XT crew. Excellent sock.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a ton of great options. So if you need some new socks, as a drop listener, you can get 15% off your first purchase with using the code BELIEVE15. Just go to swiftwick.com.
One thing I also love about them is since there's no left and right, if you have more than one pair, you can just kind of
Mix and match.
make a pair and not have to worry about it. And you don't have to think in the morning when you're putting your shoes on.
Nice.
There you go.
But
I feel like if you did a thing with all the edgier brand, like if you
Like
did
the
a
one in
warehouse
England
with
it was Satisfy. It was
Right.
UVU.
is that 24/7 brand there or 247?
I did see them on the course a lot, which was
Yeah.
weird because I didn't.
I think
really
they're kind
pay
of. I mean,
attention.
they're from there, so I guess they're kind of
Okay.
big there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah,
I didn't know. So I was when you were talking, I thought Cutty Sark was the alcohol.
It is.
and then the ship was like a sponsored by it or something. So
No, it'd be like the Plymouth.
the Cutty Sark is the ship, and then the alcohol is named after that.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was a whiskey, and that they like slapped their
Branded
name
the
on
ship.
it.
Yeah. No.
On some ship or something. I didn't know.
No, it'd be like if you had the Mayflower.
Yeah, no, I get it. I thought it was the opposite way around.
Yeah.
I didn't, because when you kept saying the Cutty Sark, I was like, it's like their brewery there, and they park a ship outside just to make it look cool. Like not brewery,
I
but
don't know
distillery.
why. I think it's just the ship. It's kind of like when you go to the Baltimore Harbor and you can go on that one ship.
Like the Constitution,
yeah, or
Constellation.
Relation. Yeah.
Constellation.
One of those.
It's one of those that Nick Cage wants to steal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So did you drink any of that while you were there?
No, I didn't.
I feel like that was cool when, like back in the day, right?
I
Like
think
the
if
90s.
you had maybe even the 70s, like if you had a turtleneck and a plaid sports coat, and you're like, darling, what you get was some Cutty Sock.
wood paneling and orange carpet
Yeah.
I love it.
in your house.
And you could drive with your glass.
Yeah.
With your eyes.
You still can.
You can.
Just-
It is against the law.
Yeah.
Just don't
depends
get caught.
where you're at.
Yeah, so that was the time in London, and I believe there was one story, Meg, you were trying to tell me. We kind of hinted at it at the beginning.
Our travels home.
Yeah, the travels home.
Well, after the marathon, we did take a day to kind of like chill out and sightsee and do all that stuff. But we were pretty wrecked. We were pretty tired, so it's not like it was that
Yeah.
much.
We didn't do too much. Like we said, we got burgers, we walked around, we got Indian food.
For dinner.
Nice.
But yeah, our flight was early. Not early, it was at like 9 something, but because of the time you have to get out of there by 6
And this gets
a.m.
back to English breakfasts.
Yeah, so we get to
By the way, I haven't heard any of this yet, so I'm interested.
All right. There's two versions.
I booked our Uber, so we got there plenty of time, and so I'm like, well, let's go and find some breakfast before our flight because we had time. So we sat down at a place. I don't remember.
Well,
what it's
first
called.
we went to the Nero coffee place.
Yeah.
And we got our coffees, but they had all that stuff that was like bacon with bread.
Yeah.
Like
nothing
sausage
we
with
wanted.
bread. Like I'm like, I just want like an egg and cheese sandwich, just something like that.
I also went to Nero in the airport.
All right.
Did you get a sandwich?
I did.
What'd you get?
It was like a chicken bacon.
It's too much
thing.
meat. Where's the eggs?
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine.
They need sheets over there is what they need.
Yeah,
dude.
they really do. So we ended up going to this place called Giraffe.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All these places sound like clubs that Stefan goes to in,
Yeah.
in SNL.
Yeah.
so it was kind of like a Denny's.
Uh-huh.
And we both ordered the breakfast burrito because it sounded good. Sausage, egg,
Yeah.
bacon,
That's what I would
beans,
order.
whatever, avocado smash on the top. But first off, also, it wasn't a burrito you could eat with your hands
Yeah, that's your first sign.
because they drizzled stuff all over
Yeah,
it.
you had to use a
Oh,
fork
so
and
it's
knife.
like,
Wet
what's the thing in a Mexican restaurant where they put the cheese all over it?
You're thinking
Enchiladas.
of enchiladas.
Yeah, so it's like that.
It's not
Basi-
wet like that.
It
but-
was wet.
breakfast chilada.
So I'm cutting it up, and I'm like noticing. I'm like, I don't know.
Is it
I
in
don't love this. And the sausages were just like if you cut sausages in 4 pieces, but it's not that dry kind of thin sausage. It was like fat, juicy sausage.
Like bangers.
yeah.
Yeah. You got your bangers.
Got the banger.
So it's an egg chilada then.
So Megan and I both have this. I'm like, whatever. It's breakfast. Get on the plane.
Plane's on
And
time.
ho-
Everything's going right. Go
While
ahead.
when you're eating this, you're like, it's good, or you're just like, I just need food.
I was like, I just need some food.
It wasn't great, and like in fact, the sausage I was like kind of putting on the side of my
Picking
plate,
apart.
so I was like, this looks kind of weird.
Okay.
That might be the difference. So we get that. We get on our plane. Excellent seats. Really happy about that. I sit down. Guy comes through. First off, our flight attendant looked like he'd be
Drew.
from, he looked like he'd be from the WWF.
Nice.
Like he was handsome, burly dude who looked like
lovely.
he should be on the Bounty toilet paper or the Bounty towels.
Yeah.
Wait, Meg, did you really find him that attractive?
I mean, he was just like, it wasn't like physically. He was just like he
was a gentle
talking to him
soul.
was like getting a
Gentle
hug.
giant. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did he have long hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he have a beard?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It did not look like he should be
Painting
working on the
picture.
plane. Like the first time he was talking to me, I was like, "Why the fuck are you talking to me?"
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, I don't have my apron on," and he was like all jacked with these muscles.
Man.
Like, yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so we get on. I order a mimosa. I'm feeling fine, feeling great. They come by, do the first service, chicken or
Like a vegetarian, like a pasta, whatever dish, which I got.
I have the chicken, and I have to say, it was a curry chicken. It didn't taste the greatest. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, Megan goes to sleep pretty much,
Yeah.
and I'm there, and all of a sudden my stomach starts really hurting. Like I'm like, this doesn't feel right. So I get up and I go to the bathroom. I'm like, something's wrong. I'm sitting there in my seat, and it's like really starting to hurt. And I'm like, I think I might need to throw up. So I go up and I ask this guy if I can have a plastic bag or something because there's not a throw up bag in the seat. And as soon as I started thinking about the sausage and the burrito, I start unloading in this bag.
In your seat or while you're still standing there?
In my seat.
So I wake up from my sleep and I'm like,
And hold up. Describe the seating situation. Is there someone beside you besides Meg?
No, we're in the
Okay.
Comfort
2,
Plus.
and then an aisle, and then 3, and then 2.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm in the window, he's in the aisle.
Okay. Imagine if you were in the middle seat of that middle section.
Oh, jeez.
That would have been glorious.
Dude, I start throwing up. And I feel like I get it out. I throw up like 3 or 4 times.
And are you
It was loud.
Are you a loud puker?
It was loud. It was like the...
Yeah, that's me
But
all
it's
the way.
but it's a plane, so you know, like everything's muffled.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's not like everyone's like turning around staring. But I'm right next to him,
You
so
can
it's
hear it.
very apparent.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm throwing up. I get up and I give the bag guy, I tie it up. I'm like, do you want me to throw this out somewhere? And he's like, no, I got it. Just put it down on the floor there. And he goes, here's another bag. I'm like, why would I need another bag? I just threw up like 3 times. I get back to my seat and I'm trying to calm down. Meg's like, you feeling okay? I'm like, I am. And then like 10 minutes later, I start throwing up again. So I'm just going at it. Like, I don't
You
even
can
know.
see there's like the sweat on his face, you know.
Oh yeah,
Like
you just look
that-
like fishy.
His like the paleness is just like getting worse.
just like a fish.
yeah.
I've never thrown up on a plane before. I'm kind of embarrassed, you know. It's like I'm sitting there
Yeah.
throwing up on the plane
In Comfort Plus.
in Comfort Plus. Thank God.
This isn't us coming back from the running event. A little bit.
Yeah.
Little bit. This is worse.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, by the way.
But we're like halfway through at this point, and we're like further along when you're like getting really bad, and then you get up to use the bathroom, and this is like 5 hours into the flight. So there's still an hour and a half left.
Okay.
So I remember getting to the bathroom. And then the next thing I know, I'm having this amazing dream.
Oh.
It was such a neat like dream. And when I open my eyes, there's like 5 dudes around me. They're going, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, where the fuck am I?
So I'm sitting in my seat. He gets up to use the bathroom. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden you hear this, bam! And I'm startled, and I look up, and everyone over on the other side of the plane has gasped, like audibly gasped, and they're like, and then this woman looks at me and she goes, "It's your husband," and I was like, so I'm like I take off my seatbelt as fast as I can. I jump out of my seat. I'm like trying to get over to his side. There's already like 3 people around him.
How far away
They're-
is this? Is this back of the plane?
No,
or-
we're real close.
We're
to it.
right
Oh,
towards
it's
the
right
front,
there.
so it's like not far.
Okay.
The guy's on the speaker saying, "Is anyone here a doctor?" Like
Yes.
talking to the pilot about medical to bring everything here.
Like in the movies.
Yes.
You're a doctor. Yeah, on board.
I run over there, and Drew gets out his phone, and he's like, I need to ask you all these questions. It's like a medical procedure we have to do because he passed out or whatever. And so I'm like just looking at Thomas, and he's like dazed. He's like looking around.
Okay, first
like,
off, I
like-
hit my head on the way down.
You can see his nose.
I
Yeah.
hit my face.
I was going to tell you had something on your nose before this
Yeah.
podcast.
Thank you.
Chocolate or
I went head first into the wall or whatever, and then landed on the ground.
Are you sure you didn't get in a wrestling match with Drew?
I Winner take all.
Yeah. Whoa.
I went up to the cabin to be like, Drew, stop looking at my lady. He's like, I'll choke you out.
Headbutt.
So he's like asking me questions, and I'm like, oh man, I feel lightheaded because I think I just like got up too fast.
So I have just woken up. I'm just back on Earth. Well, not really. I'm in the plane.
You look like.
And all of a sudden I see like in those movies, like like a lot of the Asian horror movies where the black hair girl comes wiggling out of the mirror.
Oh yeah.
I see this blonde thing going towards me, the hair like flowing back.
No way.
All the way out.
You look
and
like
Megan
The
just
Ring?
yeah. She's just crashing onto my legs. And the Drew guy catches her, but she still hits my legs. Like she still went down.
Wait, what do you?
So
What?
I'm talking to this Drew guy, but I told you like I felt lightheaded, but then it kind of passed. So I was like, okay, I'm fine. And so he's asking me questions, and I'm talking to him, and then all of a sudden, I wake up and I'm looking at this woman, and she goes, "Can you hear me?
What the-
Can you hear my name?" Or,
Wait, you passed out too?
Yes.
But it was crazy because I'm just waking up. I see this blonde thing just like dead weight. Like, like the arms are at the side.
Yeah.
And the hair is like flying back.
What?
And she's like, he catches her, but she's down on my legs. Like her head hits the floor on the other side of my legs.
So everyone on this plane thinks you've just been doing like.
That was my
drugs. Hard
immediate thought. I
drugs.
was like, they all think we're on crazy drugs.
Right.
But so, and like I've never passed out before. But what the weirdest thing is what Thomas described as like these like dreams and like feeling great is exactly how I felt.
Dude, I can't wait till the afterlife.
Are you sure you were?
Dude, I'm telling you. As soon as I went out,
What else?
it was
in that
like
burrito?
beautiful. All my pain was gone.
Are you sure you weren't crushing up some of those oxys and
Yeah,
sprinkling them in the?
Finding vials of whatever Robbie's got on the ground.
Yeah.
No, but then I was like,
Yeah. Was that yours? Yeah.
I was like, okay afterwards. I was like, because they were asking me all these questions and I was like totally fine and like answering everything normally. But it was the strangest scenario. Like literally, Thomas is on the floor on the plane. I'm on the floor on the plane. There's like all of these flight attendants around us. Like it was insanity.
The lady, I guess, is there a doctor here? One of them, she was wearing the finisher's jacket. So she was a marathoner.
I will say,
She's like, he just needs salt. He's
You're
dehydrated.
like,
I'm
listen to the
"That's
Drop
not-"
podcast.
Human element.
Believe the run.
like the
Yeah, I
people,
should have drank an element.
the people were really amazing. Like the 3 people that were doctors on the plane that came over, and then also like, so Drew happened to be in a previous career, he was a medical person for like a sub
Dude,
or something.
he's like a soap opera actor.
Yeah.
I swear.
Okay.
So he was like, he knew everything, and
For some reason, EMTs do always look like wrestlers, though, like ambulance people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but so like they checked all his vitals and he was fine. They checked mine, I was fine. But because
Your nose, what was that looking like
It was bleeding
at the time?
Like when they
didn't look that
They
bad.
didn't want to touch it, but there's blood rolling down my face.
Okay.
they didn't want to like clean it up because it had like stopped bleeding, and they were like, if at altitude or whatever, if we try and clean it, it's just going to bleed more.
But
or
it didn't.
something.
You didn't look like Andrew WK cover, like album cover.
No,
to me.
you took a photo. You took a selfie on
That
the
was
plane.
kind of cleaned up, wasn't it?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, what is happening right now? It was like the strangest scenario.
So, did you passed out? Did you pass out from seeing him or from being sick?
I think I got up too fast.
Oh, you just actually think that's the only reason why?
That's what
And then seeing me on the floor with blood on my face and like people all around me.
That's the only thing we could come up with because like there was nothing else wrong.
So it's either
Wow.
the chicken or the thing. I swear, like it was the food. And we get off the plane immediately. You know,
So because they called medical, or they alerted the pilot who had to alert medical on the ground, no one's allowed to get off the plane until we get off the plane.
That's a hack.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good.
so we're the very first off the plane.
Yeah. So and there's like all of these police officers and like
Do you want to go
medical
to the hospital? Do you
professionals.
want?
Like
Did they? And they didn't check your bags or anything to see if you were.
no.
Carrying?
In fact, it was hilarious because there was these very Boston police officers who heard that we had run the marathon, and I don't think they knew that I heard them talking, but they were in like the craziest accents talking about how silly marathoners getting on a plane ride.
Shouldn't be letting them
Passing
marathoners
out.
on the plane.
Yeah. Nice.
I'll just be passing out.
It was hilarious.
So yeah, because if I was on that plane or if I were the captain or something, I'd be like, they're just random people just passing out.
dropping.
I think there was something going on.
Like a plague or
on the
something.
plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
We did look like the homeless people you see outside of Royal Farms, like just passing out, hitting their faces against the wall. You're like, how did he get a cut like that on his face?
Yeah. Yeah.
But so they checked our vitals again once we were on the ground, and they were
They
like,
kept telling us how great our heart rate were. They're like, man, that's really good low heart
the
rate.
guy was like, if you must run marathons or something. And I was like,
Yeah.
we do. But so I was like totally fine, and so I took his bag, but I was like, maybe just wheel him.
Did they make you do wheelchairs?
Yeah, I did a wheelchair.
I told them to keep.
Oh,
it
I
in
still
one.
needed it at that point.
Yeah. And hold on. So did you throw up more or
Yeah.
No, not after that.
or crap your pants?
I did. I did. So we get to the bathroom by the baggage check, and I'm like, okay, I got all my stuff. I had to go to the bathroom again. It was horrible.
Sounds the worst. This is the worst.
So luckily we had Delta Lounge, and we got
Like,
to.
I'll
we
show
got,
them.
We got the one with a shower.
Oh, nice.
No, because I couldn't at this point. I can't eat. I can't drink.
Yeah.
I was like sipping on their lemonade water.
Time out. You figured out the Delta Lounge?
Yeah.
Like you finally figured
Well,
it
so
out?
as long as you have a ticket that's not economy, we have a
Okay.
credit card attached to it that's a Delta, so we're good.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
So we get in. I get to shower there. So I take a nice hot shower, change my clothes.
We have a 5-hour layover.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is a layover. You're not back
No,
home.
No,
They're
we're in
Boston.
Boston.
No, yeah,
Oh,
we're,
right,
we're
okay,
just.
yeah.
I still have a 2-hour flight.
Right.
So I shower. I wash my face off, get the blood off my face. It felt really good to shower because I couldn't eat or anything like that. And plus, I went to the bathroom like 5 more times during the shower. So it was like, yeah, it was like I was clearing the system out.
All right.
So,
Remind me never go to a Delta Lounge.
dude, it was so nice because it's like private. They're like, everything okay in there? I'm like, yeah.
For me.
I was in there for like a half an hour.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, so get out, and I'm trying to just be comfortable. It was like one of those things where every muscle in my body hurt from, not from the marathon so much, but
Right,
just from
right.
throwing up, like those
Oh,
contractions.
yeah, dude.
So
I've
I'm
been there.
I'm sitting there, Meg's enjoying whatever. I don't even know if you were enjoying anything. Were you?
I was just wanting to be home, but at least we were in a lounge, and like if I wanted food or drinks, it was there.
Yeah.
And
So we got back. I couldn't eat. I didn't even eat this morning. I asked Meg went to pick up Ralphie, and I was like, "Hey, can you get the
a breakfast sandwich.
yeah, breakfast sandwich and a coffee from Starbucks? I'll see if she brought back. I couldn't even.
Today?
Yeah, I couldn't even try the sandwich.
I mean, this was
this all-
yesterday.
Oh, right. This was yesterday.
This all happened literally yesterday.
That's wild.
So, wow. And so, but you felt fine,
I was like
Like-
tired and
but you weren't throwing up. and
no.
stuff. Okay.
Not sick like that.
I came home and went to the bathroom again, maybe 5 or 6 times.
Oh, man.
Jeez, dude.
It's a cleanse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
dude, it was insane.
How do you feel now? Are you okay?
I don't
now?
feel well.
Well, we're almost wrapped up, so that's
I know.
good.
I don't
didn't
feel too well, but like that's the thing now. All the work we've been putting off while we've been doing Boston and Kenya and all this stuff, I'm like, it's time to get rolling, and I'm just like
That was me yesterday. Yeah.
deep. It's like scary.
We just realized before this podcast started that summer registration opens up in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, which means I got to get busy.
Dude, that's crazy though. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I can't even imagine a plane ride where I'm just like, everything's going out.
But they gave
all
an
the
oxygen. Actually,
directions.
they gave me an oxygen mask for a little while, which was nice, and they gave him one for like the whole plane ride home.
And I will
so.
tell you this: as soon as I took that thing off, I didn't feel well again. But while I had that thing
Really?
on, I felt good.
It
Whatever's
makes
in
you
that,
feel. It's oxygen.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, so those like oxygen bars work?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh,
and
they do.
I think that thing on the plane, they probably have you put those on when the plane's going to
Sedate
crash,
you.
so you just feel good.
Yeah. Did you watch Fight Club?
Yeah, that's right.
The flight attendant, when I was like just sitting there after I had passed out, she's like, you may not even need this. She goes, but just take it. She's like, it just makes you feel better.
if you just pull that out of the ceiling, will they stop
No,
you?
they put a canister
Yeah.
at my feet, and they.
Yeah.
That was probably like nitrous oxide.
Dude, it was so good. Like I will tell you this: when I passed, I was feeling like crap. When I passed out, that I don't know how long I was out, but I was like, all pain was gone, everything was fantastic.
Did you see anyone on the other side?
That's when I can't tell because then there was people like when I opened my eyes. So you're on the ground. That's
They're
the weird
right
thing. The
there.
only other time this has happened to me was when I passed out in the kitchen and hit my head against the counter.
Yeah,
You just wake up to people
becoming
above
a habit
you.
at this point.
And it's the weirdest thing to wake up and just see heads floating above you.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's
I would have never guessed that because Meg asked me like how my flight was. I was like, I was pretty uneventful, and then I asked her like, how was yours? And yeah.
Now on the way out, that was I slept the whole time. It was great. This time I was like all excited for the ride. I'm like, I'm just gonna sleep, do all this. Nope.
man.
That's crazy.
Wait, I was gonna ask you one more thing about that. I forget. Maybe about the oxygen or something. I don't know. But so you just
We got our
for
bags.
the whole plane. You're just doing that the whole time.
Yeah.
being a weirdo.
Yeah, throwing up in bags, stomach's cramping, trying to watch A Few Good Men.
Have you had food poisoning before?
Oh, my TV was broken, so I didn't have a TV.
She was raw dogging it.
Oh,
That's
nice.
crazy.
Man, what a hellhole.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh, so what I was gonna say is I watched Interstellar this weekend, which I've never watched
Love it.
before. That movie's awesome.
Yeah.
And I was just imagining you as him as a Nash on the other side of the bookcase.
Trying to get your
Thomas is on
attention.
the floor trying to push through to Megan. She's like, he just sees her through the.
Time is an illusion.
Tear going down.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe you time traveled a little bit too.
I feel like I did. And Megan apparently came with me when she went down. Maybe that's what it was. I was leaving the planet. You're like, I'm going with you.
Maybe you're younger now and you're gonna run a sick marathon in the fall.
I threw up the old guy. He's out.
I threw up all the 830 miles. Yeah.
I will have to tell you, man, this training session, getting through it and feeling good the whole time and, taking the gym into account and the different things I did. I'll run another one. I was thinking maybe London would be my swan song, but I need to go out with a nice cool day.
I like
and now, with a little bit of better mental attitude.
Well, even
be
if you
fun.
get that temperature in the fall, you would do much better running through the summer.
Yeah.
I've been back at the gym now since we finally are home, and that's what I was surprised by is that I thought because
You think you'd lose a bunch?
yeah, because I'd only
you
gone
did?
like once in like basically 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And
I'm a little nervous
I
about
was
that.
surprised that I'm like right back at it.
I don't think
better than I was before.
I
which
think
is
I want to
crazy.
give this week an entire week down, especially with the illness.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Yes,
and
so
just
smart.
start next week. But I'm ready to get back into it. I really do think it didn't benefit me in a way that I felt like I was faster. It benefited me in a way that I felt I was more balanced and stronger.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
that part of it I loved. So overall, though, even with the hot weather, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but the experience was fantastic. I loved it. Big thanks to both New Balance, Wahoo for supporting us on our way out there, and just everybody. Like I had a great time. Like the New Balance family, I love hanging out with our friends that are there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I know, we go and we do these events and we meet the people and stuff, but we're also there learning so much about product and stuff. We were able to see some new shoes that are coming out from New Balance in the next year that I think people will be excited about. There's especially one that is going to be in a lower price range that looks pretty fantastic. I think people are going to be really pumped about that. Obviously, we saw updates to some of the standard shoes like the 1080 and stuff like that are really making a nice leap this next year. So I'm really excited. And we've been running in the Rebel V5, and both Megan and I
It's
like
on
it.
my feet. You can't see it. You're not allowed to see it.
Can't.
I like it. All right, cool.
I think that's it, right? We
I-
recapped it all.
I think that is it.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let Thomas go puke his guts out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
I'm
worried.
excited to eat something. And as bad as it sounds, so normally when I come back, my routine coming back from one of these trips is the night I get back, doesn't matter what time it is. It could be 2 a.m. Pop in through the door. I like to shake a martini, sit on the couch, enjoy a martini when I get home. That's like my welcome home thing.
Okay.
Okay.
And I wasn't able to do that.
I was like, that's how you know it's bad.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was like, Megan could offer anything right now, and I'd turn it down. She could be like, well, at least I tried. So,
Yeah. All right.
I'll have one for you tonight. So.
Mr. Window. Oh, you will?
Yeah, maybe 2.
I'm gonna have to call my mom before this comes out because I didn't tell her about any of this stuff that happened.
Oh wow.
You got to tell her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next week we'll clue you into what the reason Carl was out in London. Pretty excited about that. We'll probably talk about the shoe that's involved with. Pretty pumped. That was kind of like coming out of nowhere. But we had a great time in Boston. Thanks to all of you that came out and saw us there. I know that some people wanted to get together in London. We didn't make that easy, but I'm sure the next event that we go to will be a little more public facing. This one we just wanted to kind of like chill to get our best chance at having a fun marathon.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Cool.
Hi, Ma.
My laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you want to talk